Check out this willow sculpture and check out this week's ATV News.
We'll show you what makes this memorial the only one of its kind.
Do your pets freak out around fire? Imagine trying to get them out of here.
This isn't how you'd spend a cold evening, but you don't have the motivation these cadets do.
Logan Canyon is usually huffing and puffing, but I'll show you if the second little piggy's house is staying here in weather.
The Aggies broke not one, but 2 records this week. I'll show you which teams are making history in sports.
All that and more, stick around for ATV. Welcome to ATV News. I'm Nicole Heaps.
And I'm Cassandra Solarte. A Loganholme is partially destroyed after catching fire on Thursday. The fire marshal said the fire burned the house's carport the most, destroying 1 car and several 4-wheelers inside. The fire reached the house's attic, but firefighters were able to extinguish the flames before they reached the main part of the house. The people inside all made it out okay, along with their dogs, which the fire marshal said can often be tricky.
Kind of depends on if they're, how scared they are, where they run, and things like that.
Humphrey said the house can be rebuilt.
Police are looking for a hit-and-run driver that crashed into a police car. A tow truck drove off with the police car that was struck while stopped at a red light Friday. Officers found the car involved in the hit-and-run near the campus fire station, but have not found the driver. Police say if you have any information, to call the Logan City Police Department.
The USU Office of Public Safety wants you to be wary when opening unknown packages or suspicious packages. They sent out an email with warning signs of suspicious packages. These signs are rigid or bulky packaging, badly written or misspelled labels, excessive or no postage, leaks, stains or powders, vibrations or other sounds. Public Safety says if you see a suspicious package, do not disturb it and call 911.
The Life's Worth Living Foundation held a special memorial in Tooele in honor of veterans. ATV's Ayana Likens joins us live. Hi, Ayana.
Hi, Nicole. I'm here with Specialist Ryan Verhoef, who is here to talk to us today about the mental health challenges that those in service face, and he's currently serving in the U.S. Army National Guard. So first off, Ryan, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
Of course. Now, tell me, have you been affected or have you seen the impact that mental health has on those in service?
Well, from my perspective, the Army has done a lot to improve their mental health services that they provide to their service members. For example, they've been working hard on improving pre-deployment and post-deployment screenings for their soldiers to make sure that their mental health is good. They also provide substance abuse programs, substance abuse prevention programs, as well as counseling and psychiatric services to their service members, both who are currently serving and those who have left the Army through the VA.
That's awesome that you guys have those resources available to you. And for those in the community, what can we do to support our servicemen and women?
Specifically with mental health, you can encourage them to seek help and remind them that it's not a sign of weakness if they go to seek help. You know, we all deal with dark things within our mind, and sometimes we do. Sometimes we all need a little help. And this is advice not only just for service members, but also for the general population.
I agree. Well, thank you, Specialist Verhoef, for your time. And now we're going to take you to a town just about 100 miles away to see how they are honoring veterans who have died by suicide and how they are helping those struggling with resources. The new monument in Tooele City is
the first in the nation the very first in the nation, are bringing out of the shadows the challenges that our returning veterans face.
Sculptor Dan Snar donated all of his time.
I realized that some things transcend the need for money. There's things that you just need to do.
Former Marine Dean Adams says he lost his veteran uncle to suicide last year.
It doesn't matter the age of the veteran or service. It still hits home.
The foundation says that 22 veterans die every day by suicide, which is more than 3 times the amount that we lost in combat.
In the Vietnam War, we lost 58,220 troops to combat. Since that time, of those same troops, we've lost 170,000 to suicide. And it's got to stop.
What makes this monument different is the mental health resources.
It is an issue that, again, a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it has to be addressed, and we want our veterans to know we are here for them.
Community members and veterans say the monument touched them.
It is heartwarming, and as a veteran, we appreciate it.
The foundation says they are working on another monument, which is honoring mission dogs, and they hope to unveil it next Veterans Day.
It looks like the memorial was very emotional for the people who attended.
It really was. It was so special to be a part of that day, and I can't thank the foundation enough for seriously providing those resources for our veterans.
Thanks, Ayana.
And speaking of memorials, Utah State University unveiled a statue on campus honoring Aggies who served during World War I. A USU Honor Guard conducted a 21-gun salute, and veterans placed a memorial wreath. The memorial has 3 historical plaques and a 26-inch American soldier known as a doughboy. The victorious doughboy at the top was chosen to celebrate the centennial of World War I. Alumni say this statue is a great way to honor those who served.
It is a magnificent memorial to these men and women who gave their lives throughout the centuries, and will be a reminder to all of the young cadets as they pass through these doors.
The Victorious Doughboy is the 3rd statue by Fairbanks that is on USU campus.
You may have noticed some students in uniforms marching on the quad last week. Ed Collins got an inside look at the meaning behind the ROTC's Vigil.
This is the final moment of a vigil, publicly honoring members of the armed forces who were prisoners of war or went missing in action. Air Force ROTC cadets from Utah State held the vigil for 24 hours without stopping, even throughout the previous night. One cadet said the solitude offered a chance to reflect on what the vigil meant to him.
I think it's just a great time to just remember those brave men and women who have come before me. My father's in the military, I have siblings in the military, and I'm proud to serve this nation and just remember those who've gone before us and all those who are going to come after me.
The ritual continued through the morning as temperatures dropped to 16 degrees.
Walking 10 steps in a straight line doesn't do much to warm circulation. It's very cold out here, and I'm bundled up tight. These cadets are only wearing their uniforms, but they say the reason for their vigil makes braving the cold worth it.
Just to remember, that's why we do it, to remember those missing in action. They may not be found, but they'll never be forgotten as long as we keep doing events out there like that.
An event that ended quietly, with taps playing in the background and a closing ceremony. Cadets removed flags, big and small, and met with friends and family afterward. They'll be back again next year to honor the same sacrifices. Ed Collins, ATV News.
ROTC members want you to plant a flag and observe the vigil for yourself next year.
When we come back, our armistice coverage continues after the break, and these objects have quite the story to tell.
We'll show you what it's like to be a minority in the ROTC.
The current temperature is 50 degrees.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt. And to follow the swimming rules.
You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
Here in the garage.
Closet. Shoebox. Under the bed.
Where anyone can get to it. How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
Welcome back. We're happy to provide your local news.
And here to tell us about this week's weather is Bronson Tykert.
Thanks, Cassandra. You know, the weather has been a bit cold, but the sun is still out, and I want to show you some photos sent in from a Cache Valley local. These photos were sent from the owners of Paradise Valley Orchard a few days ago. It looks like these animals are enjoying the sun while it lasts. Surprisingly, the sun was out and the wind wasn't blowing out of Logan Canyon on these students walking to class. I'll show you what the forecast looks like for the rest of the week. So as you can see today on Wednesday, it's 48 degrees here, but that was earlier today. The temperature now is about 50 degrees with a low of 19, probably later on tonight. As we move on to Thursday, we have a high of 51, and that's going to be the same on Friday, just with a few clouds over there. On Thursday, we're going to have a low of 22 and a low of 25 on Friday. And we move on to the weekend, we're still going to have a little bit of cloud cover. About 49 degrees is the high on Saturday and 21 degrees as the low. And then Sunday, we're still having cloud cover with a high of 45 and a low of 21. And then as we move into Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, we're going to have a high of 48 on Monday and a low of 20 on Monday. And then on Tuesday, 49 degrees with a low of 22. That is the 7-day forecast, and back to you at the desk, Cassandra.
Thanks, Bronson. Here at USU, some students honored Armistice Day by creating a World War I immigration and aviation exhibit. At the Museum of Anthropology, you can find the exhibit front and center at the museum. The display features 2 flight suits that local World War I memorabilia collectors loaned the museum. Pictures of the pilots in their suits are shown so you can see a little bit of what it was like during that time and read about how the war affected people in our country.
Individuals enter into that conflict and they can come out and be very heroic and have tremendous contributions, but it can also be incredibly devastating for families.
The exhibit also focuses on immigrants and their roles during World War I. Like many other Armistice Day events, it wrapped up this weekend.
100 years. That's how long it's been since World War I. I went to an event on Saturday which displayed artifacts from the war to remember Armistice Day.
People check out artifacts at this World War I Roadshow, where those from your community can bring in artifacts to share. Things like photos, books, and uniforms, like Utah State Professor David Byers brought in.
This is all World War I aviators gear. I've got a German pilot over here and his photo albums.
Artifacts like these can teach you stories about World War I long after those fighting in the war have passed away.
That terrible war that was to end all wars.
This woman brought in a poster with a picture of her father-in-law, a late World War I veteran, to share at the roadshow. She says an artifact or a journal entry from the war is important because
this gives a more personal approach to it, knowing that how these events affected one person's life and one family's life.
He was on the ROTC.
So artifacts, like these people are observing, are more than just cool to look at, according to someone running the event.
You look at objects or artifacts, and they can tell as much history about something as a history book can.
Nicole Heaps, ATV News.
If you'd like to learn more about World War I, check out our Facebook page for a link to Utah State Library's interactive digital timeline of the war.
Though women have always been allowed in the ROTC, the role has changed. ATV's Caitlin Rindlis-Baker shows you what it was like to be a woman in that program, traditionally that only allowed men.
We have a lot less females in the program than you would see in other organizations.
Out of 81 cadets, 13 are women, but Lisa Bourgeois says that hasn't held her back.
I've had plenty of opportunities to be in leadership, and my gender never mattered.
If you're still thirsty, make sure you drink water.
At USU, gender has never been a factor in letting people in the ROTC.
Female students as well did training, military training, right after the opening in 1890, 1891 of the university. And it turned out to be quite controversial, even though the female students really enjoyed it.
They trained to march in parades and twirl wooden guns.
Times have changed, and so have the ways that women train.
Where does the weapon squad go? Does anyone know?
Today,
Apexes, yeah, the corners.
they are right alongside the men.
It's something different. I've never done anything like this before.
Go! Women train alongside the men, but they don't have the same expectations.
The females are held to a different standard, just based on our bodies. Females have to do less push-ups than males may have to do, just based on the muscle structure of their back. And we're also allotted more time on the run.
All right, let's get moving, guys.
Those differences don't keep women from rocking up and going out with the men. Caitlin Rindlis-Baker, ATV News.
It's really interesting to see how the expectations for women have changed in the ROTC.
Yeah, and I could not do push-ups like that. That's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, my weak noodle arms are completely useless.
After the break, Shani Howard will show you how this week's sports highlights.
That's right, Cassandra. Utah State had their last home game this Saturday, or was it? I'll tell you after the break.
Also coming up, this pageant is unlike any of the pageants you've seen before.
There's a new piece of gear that could take more Aggies into the sky.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
be nice. She's new. Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened? Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi. You mean you were driving? Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here. I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Are you ready? Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Shani Howard, and boy, what a week has it been. Utah State is wrapping up the last home game of the season, who better to talk to about it than our local sports resident, Josh Witzel. Josh explains from the stadium why this was such an important game.
This USU football team has kicked, run.
Here at nearly empty Maverick Stadium, the Utah State football team is attempting to accomplish Matt Wells' preseason goal of going undefeated at home. We'll show you what happens on this field against San Jose State.
First quarter, Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Week, Jordan Love connects with Jordan Nathan for the 42-yard touchdown reception. Second quarter, San Jose State quarterback Josh Love hit as he throws. Tipa Nalei tips it and intercepts it. This is Utah State's 27th caused turnover this season. Next play after the turnover, Gerald Bright can't find a hole, cuts it to the other side of the field, and he is in space. No one will catch him. It is a 29-yard touchdown run for Bright. Utah State wins it 62-24 on senior night.
We take a lot of pride playing at home, and to go 6-0 is really a good completion of what we wanted to do.
Post-game here at Maverick Stadium, the fans are gone, and Matt Wells and company took care of business, going undefeated at home. And if they win their last 3 games, they will be able to hold the Mountain West title game right here in Logan. Back to you in the studio, Shani.
Thanks, Josh. USU football is headed into next week with a newly set school record. ATV's Paige Zamora was at this game with the scoop.
This USU football team has kicked, run, and thrown their way into the record books. It's no secret that Utah State has become very familiar with these end zones this year, and that's taken them past the record for touchdowns in a single season. It's been 7 years since the record was last broken, but after Saturday, the new record set by the team is 66 touchdowns. And with 62 points on the board for the Aggies tonight, they set a new record for total points in a single season and still have 3 games to add to that.
I think it'll be cool to really look back on probably at the end of the year. But it's like something new every week that Doug and his staff keep telling me, Matt, y'all broke this record, you broke that record.
Sophomore quarterback Jordan Love says breaking records is no surprise from his team.
Because, I mean, I'm just really throwing the ball up, they're catching it, making plays on their feet and stuff. So we got just all these weapons around me. It's hard not to score points like this.
One of Love's weapons, Darwin Thompson, became the first Aggie in 6 years to have over 100 yards in both rushing and receiving. The record breaking didn't stop there. This team stacked up 804 yards of total offense, more than any other game in USU history and the 3rd most in the nation this season. They're also tied with the 1960 Aggie squad for the longest winning streak in program history at 9. From Maverick Stadium, Paige Zamora, ATV Sports.
Wells and company will head to Colorado this Saturday to take on the Rams and keep raising those records. Utah State's women's basketball team is back at home after beating Washington State last week. They took the Northern New Mexico College on Friday. First quarter, Eliza West with 1 of 18 Utah steals on the day. No one is in front of her, and she finishes with an easy layup. Second half, West throws to Haley Bassett Meacham, who takes the jump shot. These 2 of her high 18 points. Olivia West wide open in the corner, and she makes the 3. She finishes with 17 points. Aggies slaughter Northern New Mexico with a final score of 106-35.
We needed a little breather. I didn't expect this much of a breather, but it's a good game. It's a refreshing game.
The 106-35 win was the largest margin victory in school history. This was an easy win, but their schedule doesn't get any easier. They play number 3 Oregon tonight at 7 at the Spectrum. Utah State's men's basketball is looking to stay undefeated after they took on Mississippi Valley State last night at home. First half, Quinn Taylor passes to Keita, who finishes with a dunk. Here's Sam Merrill, who finishes with a layup, 2 of his 18 points on the night. Dwayne Brown Jr. passes to Brock. In the corner, he makes a three-pointer at the end of the first half. Aggies playing defense too. Terrion Wright blocks Dante Scott's layup. Let's take another look. Nice help defense for the block. Aggies won by a final score of 94-59.
They made some tough shots, and some nights teams are going to do that. So, all in all, I thought we defended hard.
The Aggies' next game will be Friday at 7 p.m. against Utah Valley University in the Spectrum. Hockey added to Utah State's victories this week when they played Weber State at home on Friday. Kirk Villiers scores his first goal of the night. In the second period, Decker passes to Walton, and he puts the puck past the goalie. Weber scores twice to tie up the game, but it doesn't stay that way for long. Number 3 comes in with another assist, this time from Doyle. The Aggies are up by 1, and they are celebrating. Decker finally gets a goal of his own, and right after passes to Laarte, who scores. Decker, who on the score one more time. Aggies beat the Wildcats 6-3. Senior Drew Decker won Player of the Game and says the team is on track to move up in the league rankings.
Right now, I know the first rankings came out Wednesday, and we're currently in the 14th spot, so we're trying to move up, and this is, a prime opportunity to do so this upcoming week.
You can see more league games this Thursday through Sunday at the Eccles Ice Arena. USU plays at 7 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and 2 p.m. on Sunday. Cassandra, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Shani. It seems this year has been anything but ordinary for Aggie football fans, and that's not the only unique thing happening on campus. The Miss Native American USU pageant is different than a typical pageant you may have seen. This pageant focuses on honoring traditions and Native American tribes. Contestants introduce themselves by speaking their tribe's native language. They perform a traditional talent such as a dance, playing the drum, or even butchering a sheep. The newly crowned Miss Native American USU says that she has a lot to offer in her new position.
I can be a good role model, I'm positive, I'm responsible, I get good grades.
Yazzie will start her reign at the beginning of 2019. Until then, she will be training alongside 2018 Miss Native American USU, Tenya Sani.
The Aviation program recently bought a new piece of gear for their students, and this equipment is increasing the odds of an Aggie flying potential passengers like you. Inside this machine, there's a student practicing a flight. All these buttons, knobs, and visuals give them a sense of what it's like to fly a real airplane. Instructors say the experience is very immersive.
The visuals are amazing. They're just like a full motion simulator. And I can't stand up when I'm sitting in there because once they start moving, you really get that feel that you're moving.
3 projectors offer a 180-degree view of the flight. And with such realistic gear, professors say students will be better prepared to get a job as an airline pilot. You might be making plans for Black Friday now, but one Logan business started preparations right after the shopping frenzy ended a year ago. Helping this man try on his new shoes might be as busy as it gets for this employee at Al's Sporting Goods. The day after Thanksgiving will be different. This store clerk has been getting these shopping bags ready for 2 weeks for new gear like winter gloves. They say when customers come through the doors, everything has to be ready for shoppers who wait hours to get in.
We're knocking their socks off on everything, and that's why it's pandemonium in our store. I mean, if you are standing at the front door of Al's on Black Friday this year, we'll have a few hundred people lined up, and the store is just chaos.
Larson says their most popular Black Friday items are these bikes. While there are hundreds in the store, most of them are waiting in the warehouse. Womply, a small business software company, found that Black Friday is the third best sales day of the year for stores like Al's Sporting Goods.
Thanks for joining us today for ATV News.
You can find all these stories and more on our Facebook page. We'll leave you with the shot of Cache Valley.
If you'd like to have your own pictures featured on the show, post them on Facebook.